What's up, everybody? It's Broken Bones here, and welcome back to another episode here on the KRUSTYKRAFT server. Today is episode 28, yes it is, and today we're starting things off right here at Tic-Tac-Toe, because this is what we just finished, finally, after so many episodes. It's been quite the project. Roller is actually finishing it right now as we speak. He's building this sign right here. It's not completely done. It's supposed to look just like the front, like this, the Tic-Tac-Toe with the X's and the O's. That looks pretty cool. Let's see if we can get flight here. Can we get some flight? There we go. A little bit of lag there. But nonetheless, this whole place is looking pretty cool. And I'm really excited about this game being done because it's awesome to play. Just check out the entrance of this thing. I mean, right now it's a bit of a mess because of all of our project, but that's to be expected with a project. But once we get this cleaned up, this whole place is going to look pretty awesome. And as you can see, it looks awesome even with all this clutter. Here's all the crusty coins for all the people that helped. And this is the interior. This is where you play. And this is the arena in where the game takes place. And as you can see, everything's off right now. It actually has an on-off switch. So let's go ahead and turn the game on right here. There we go. As you can see, when you turn the game on, it'll go ahead and set everything up, then it'll also close the door in about 30 seconds. And the scoreboards just came on, so that's pretty cool. And see, just there, the door went ahead and closed. And if we come over here, we can go and play ourselves a game. The light's on for the O side, so we can go ahead and pick a square. But if you go ahead and pick a square, the giant display shows up on the screen. It's really awesome. That's so cool. And then over here, as you can see, the light turns on and my light goes off. So now it's X's turn, and X will probably want to go in the middle or something like that. But yeah, this is a pretty cool game. And if somebody actually wins, let's go ahead and actually do a win. It actually gives you a point and resets the board for you, which is really awesome. Let's go ahead and see this right here. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're kind of cheating. We're gonna get a win right now. But as you can see, Circle is gonna go ahead and take that square. Once it goes ahead and goes through, there we go. So now it's going to give me a score point and reset the board, and we're ready for the next game. So that's pretty cool. But this thing's got a lot of circuits in it that do a lot more than just what's meeting the eye. There's turn detection, so only one player can go at a time. There's also button disabling, so once a certain player hits a certain button, the other player cannot activate the same square, so that you can't overlap, X's and O's. And so that's it's a pretty complicated system, but it works really well. I mean, reset board and scoreboards. Right now it's going to reset the board, and it's also going to reset the scoreboards. So this will go ahead and cycle all the way through 1 through 9 until it goes back to 0. Now that it's on 0, both sides are, we can go ahead and turn the game off, and it'll go ahead and turn everything off. So you can see that even the scoreboards themselves turn off, which is pretty cool. Turns off the lights and everything. And then in just a short while, just to make sure that everything did what it's supposed to do, the door will open. And I want to give a big shout out to Roller Gamer. This guy right here is the guy who basically designed everything. He's the one who went in creative mode and figured out how everything was going to work. I just kind of gave him a big hand with laying all the redstone and doing all the building. But yeah, Roller Gamer is a pretty smart guy. He got all that done. But today, we're going to stay away from that right now. We might go over there and play a game later, but we need to do something. We need to actually go ahead and kind of pick ourselves back up, because these are the last few carrots I'm actually eating. I'm on my last carrot right now. I don't have any more food. We have a bunch of carrots in here, but they're not golden, and carrots themselves aren't a good food source. So that's one thing that we need to do. As well as completely abandoning this idea. This idea I'm not going to use. This was an idea that I had for a squid farm, of turning this entire ocean into a squid farm, and I really don't like the idea now. After I've seen how much lag it's going to cause and how much effort it's going to take, it's not worth it. But first things first, while we're here, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a bunch of carrots. We'll start making ourselves some more food. One thing I've noticed while I've been crafting all these carrots is this zombie that keeps on making noises right next to me. He's like over here somewhere. I think we should go investigate. There's definitely a zombie back here somewhere. And there he is, right there. That wasn't very hard to find. Let's see, I don't have my arrow on me. Let's go ahead and take care of this guy with the sword then. And I guess we should go ahead and take some of our torches here, light this area up so we don't have that. Ah, back to peace and quiet. A full soccer box of food, no exceptions. And next, not that I want it to be next, but we need to take care of this. We need to actually take all this out and actually go ahead and take out all the water and the slime blocks and the glass. I thought this would have been a little bit harder, but this is actually pretty easy. These ones over here I think are going to be even easier. All I have to do is just take out the water source, and it really should be all gone. Let's see if that's true. Looks like it's all cleared up. Nice. And of course we have this task of taking out all these stone slabs here. This is just kind of annoying. I don't know why I ever decided this was a good idea. And now to take out all this glass is, gosh, I'm really not looking forward to this. Not only that, when I did this project, I smelted up like 7 shulker boxes of glass, and it was 5 shulker boxes too many. Wow, that came out faster than expected, but for how much that was, I thought we would have got more than a stack of glass, and a lot more than just this many slabs. The next part of the project is not so small. This part is actually quite large, and it's a big glass wall that goes all the way around the perimeter of the squid farm that I was going to create, but it's just not feasible. And not only that, it goes right over my buddy's base. I'm regretting every minute I spent building this thing. This thing was a major mistake. I've made it down to my buddy ManPairBig's base, and literally I've been mining for about an hour, and nothing interesting has even remotely happened. These are the last few blocks that are just on the other side of my friend's house, ManPairBig, and now we need to actually go do the rest of the wall over there. There's still a bunch of glass on that side of his house. Yet, this side didn't take that long either. We're actually right on the very last block right there, although my axe could use some mending. So you know what that means. We gotta mend this thing up, and that means I gotta make you guys listen to it. Just like we do every other time. But now it's on to the next section of glass. We need to go ahead and remove this bit. And good thing is that it's nice and shallow, except for over there. That's not too shallow, but hopefully this will go out quicker than the rest of it. Well, now this side is done. We still have the diagonal to go, but all that came out actually pretty quickly. And look at the durability on my pickaxe. It didn't really take that much, so that's pretty good. We need to just go ahead and continue on down this way. And hopefully our pickaxe won't need mended. Wow, hey, check this out. While I've been mining all this glass, I just happened to notice this little sandstone structure over here. And I don't know what it is. I have no clue. But it's pretty cool. I wonder if it goes... Looks like it goes down a little bit. I wonder if it goes down everywhere. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Polished granite? What the... I've never seen this down in the ground before like this. I wonder if it goes lower than this. Let's see how much air do we have. We have plenty of air. That's a trip. It goes down even further. How far down does it go? Looks like that's it though. Oh, there's some treasure right here. That's what it is. Let's go up and get some air. Right, I've made it back down. Let's go ahead and mine this out, and we'll mine that out too. There we go. Let's go and open this bad boy up, and what do we have? A bunch of coal. We have a treasure map too. Let's go and get rid of this stone here. Well, let's go ahead and pull our treasure map out and see where it says there's some treasure, perhaps. And X marks the spot. We're right next to it. It says it's right over there. What's strange is I think this... Look at that. This is right over that X on the map. This is right where the treasure is. I wonder if there's any treasure there. Looks like there might have been in the past, and somebody took it out because that area was hollow. I don't think there's going to be much else down here. I wonder if the buried treasure's gone. Let's see. Oh, look at that! Look at that! I found a chest! I found a chest. Let's go ahead and open that up and see if there's anything... Look at that! A heart of the sea? Those are so rare. I just came across a really good find there, guys. Look at that. We got all that. The iron armor I could care less about. The prismarine crystals. Potion of water breathing. That's pretty cool too, but we can get rid of that. Oh my goodness, for not having anything interesting going on with removing all this glass and finding that little unsuspecting sandstone build, whatever it was, and finding a chest that led us to having this treasure map, which led us to having the treasure over here, which led to us having a heart of the sea. That's so cool. Well, that's the last of that wall, and this little guy sure made that wall a little bit more interesting. But now we are on to this side, and this side, I believe, is even shallower yet. I don't believe this one goes down nearly as deep, if I'm correct. Yeah, this one's only 1 block wide. That one's only 1 block wide. And most of that's on land. Oh my goodness, this skeleton's coming down to fight me here. Let's see if we can just get him out of here really quick. There we go. And what's this? Look at this. There's like a little shipwreck right here. This is pretty cool. Hey, there's a chest. Let's see if there's anything good inside. I don't think so. That's what I usually get inside these chests. That's why I was so stoked. I got a heart of the sea. Is that what it is? I mean, the heart of the sea is literally one of the most useful things in the game versus paper. This side is now done. That went rather quickly. And now we're on to this side, which this side will also go pretty quickly because it's just this little gully right here. Literally just kind of goes down Not that far. I'm literally on the same breath of air as that last clip, and I'm determined to get all this glass out on that breath of air, even though that we're drowning right now, but we did it. We got ourselves a little section of glass right here, which won't take very long. And I think that was the last bit of glass that we just took out right there. And this looks like it goes up the mountain, which it does, and it comes right across and straight over. I do remember this part not getting done because it's not really necessary. And we're all the way back to the beginning where we first started, which is awesome. And look at Nightbat actually took down the iron bars around his base. That's nice. I didn't really like the way that looked anyway. But yeah, there's one more bit of glass we got to take out, and that's around the Guardian farm. I've just been taking out the first bits of glass, and I noticed that we still have this little platform over here, and this is blue glass, exactly what we're taking out. We'll take that with us. We have an ender chest, and really, there's nothing of any value on here. We're just going to go ahead and take this out and take everything with us. A couple things about doing this glass. It's actually very hard to do that first layer because the water's constantly pushing you over the ledge. But then once you're down here, it's a lot easier. And not only that, when you're down really far, you don't have to come back up to the surface. You just have to come out here, grab some air. That makes it quite easy. One thing I thought would be a good idea is come over here and make sure this thing's working properly, because we're losing a lot of stuff, but hopefully that stuff is full. Let's take it down here and take a look. That one's working. That's good. Is this one still working? That one's not working. Man. Alright, well, first things first, to fix this thing, we need to stop the item flow. So we're going to go ahead and come right here and grab this piece of glass right here. There we go. We should be able to set that right there, and all the items will back up right there so we can actually do our business. Now, over here, this is the hopper that's not working right here. We need to open this guy up and fix it. Let's go ahead and do that here really quickly. There we go. Let's open up this hopper, and yes, it's quite a mess in there. Let's go ahead and put that over here. That doesn't go in there. And we need to go ahead and take these filter sticks. These actually go in here. So let's go ahead and take these. We'll split those up just like that. There we go. We can split that up again. Fill in the extra spots. There we are. And then the only other thing is that raw cod doesn't go in there. We get these prismarine crystals. There we go. That should be everything all fixed up. I don't know why that hopper always has to break, but that means that we got to sort all this out too. At least now, while we're working, our Guardian farm will be happily making a bunch of items for us, which is great. Oh my goodness, this entire time I've had a shulker box of potions of water breathing, plus we had a water breathing potion in our inventory from that, the same time that we got that, Heart of the Sea right there. Well, this water breathing potion ought to make things a lot easier, hopefully a little bit faster too. Well, with that one water breathing potion, we were able to go ahead and complete the mining of all this wall here. And as you can see, I've got all the glass floating on top of the water. So now with water breathing, this other side should go pretty quick, I hope. And as you can see, remember what I was talking about with this first layer? It wants to push you over, and you're constantly having to fight it. It's quite a pain in the butt. Here's the last bit of the third side. However, I think Misty Plays put this dirt pillar here, and look what it did. It totally messed up everything. There's water going down. I guess I really should have looked at that dirt pillar before I broke all the glass. And here goes down the fourth and final wall. We got all those bits of glass out, but I still need to go ahead and fix my mistake over here. And that's going to be a pain in the butt because I got to fix that from the top down. Alright, so I've taken out the dirt underneath this, and if we take this dirt, we should be able to go up there, and as you can see, it kind of cancels that out. And we need to do that from that point forward. So let's go ahead and see if we can get down here. And we're going to try to take this out from the top down, just like that. But that's the only way to do it, because if you place a block underneath it, it'll just spill out even further and make a bigger mess. Here we are. We're approaching the bottom here. Let's see if we have enough dirt, which we don't, but that's okay. We should be able to go ahead and mine some of this out up here. We take some of that out. Should be able to finish this all up. There we go. Alright, place that there, and that one's fine. Alright, now if we take that all away, water's all gone. Problem's fixed. We just need to take out the rest of the dirt. All of our water problems are now fixed, but I wanted to come over here because the problem that we had earlier with this thing being backed up, let's see. Looks like it's got all the same items going in. Can we open the shulker box? Nice. Look at that. It's nice. It hasn't broken the entire time we've been working here, and I've been working here for the past couple hours at least 2 or 3 hours, and nothing's broken. I'm almost certain that's going to be like a chunk loading error. I don't think that's a lag issue or a redstone issue. That's literally a chunk unloading error. So whenever I leave this place, something's happening with the redstone back there to break it. I want to actually test that theory. I was about to leave inside the nether portal, and I just had a thought. We should actually go back to the guardian farm right now and check that item sorter. Everything seems to be just fine. I'm really curious as to see what that problem is, because honestly, everything's just fine back there. The redstone works, everything works, and then every once in a while it just breaks. Wonder why. Well, all problems aside, let's not focus on that. We're going to go down here and actually think of some new projects that we can work on, because ever since Tic-Tac-Toe's done now, we need to actually go over there and play a few games. I'm kind of lost on what to do. So I've got a few projects written down, and I figured we'd go ahead and put them on some signs, and I think this part of our wall would be a good spot to do that. Mob farm. This is something that we really need, and I mean, look at this. Our gunpowder supplies are so low. Connect 4, that's another mini game just like Tic-Tac-Toe that Roller wants me to help him with. And that nether wart farm, the one that I showed you guys a few episodes ago, I need to get that built. Also a proper super smelter, something that's like not like these up there. Let's face it, there's a lot of smelters here, but this is not a super smelter. This is just smelters with hoppers and chests on top of it. I mean, this is so annoying. You want to know how annoying it is? It's 10 times more annoying than a super smelter. Get it? Because there's like 10 times more chests. That stupid Elytra launch idea that I have for my spawn house, my actual base, my original idea was to build Atlantis around the Guardian farm. A proper stone gen, one that doesn't always break. A squid farm. You know, I'm missing out on a lot of dark prismarine. A wither skull farm, and a blaze farm. But before we build these, we need to actually go on another run and reset the nether and make a new nether hub. That's going to be something then for the future, and hopefully we can get that done within the relatively close future. So, these are all the projects that I kind of want to work on. The mob farm being probably number 1, just because I think rockets are probably going to be my number 1 priority. Fast travel is important. Number 2 is going to be Connect 4. I know that Roller Gamer is almost done designing that one, and he's going to want to get started on that one quickly, because he's rolling pretty fast on that Fun and Games District. Then third is probably going to be my actual base. I want to get this going. Although the Elytra launch for my spawn house, that'd be pretty. I think this one would be third. Here's Roller Gamer. He's grabbing some sugarcane out of my base. He's building a sugarcane farm for himself because he wants rockets too. He needs plenty of paper. And my actual base, we'll probably do this one third, but my actual base is going to include probably the stone gen, the potion brewer, and a super smelter even, and maybe even the nether wart farm. This is going to be so big I really don't want to make it a public farm. So in order to build this mob farm, this is exactly kind of how I want to do it. We want to design it in creative first. We want to think about everything that we want to do to this mob farm, how we want it to work, how we want it to be. Then we also need to do a resource list. We need to actually figure out what it's going to take to actually build this thing and go gather all those resources. Then once we have all the resources made, we can actually go ahead and construct the whole mob farm because we'll have everything to do it. So we need to, in constructing it, we're going to have to pick a location as well. But first, we need to design it in creative. And to design that, we're going to have to design a farm, design a storage system, and then obviously we're going to have to decorate it. So let's get busy on that. I swear to God, I can hear another zombie sound in the back of my base. Listen, there it is. Jesus, this guy's been making noise all the way from down here. This is way below my base. I don't know how I'm supposed to keep him out of there. Here we are in my redstone testing world where we have a bunch of cool stuff that I've built and a couple of tutorials I've made. Let's go find a new spot where we can go ahead and build ourselves a mob farm. This looks like a good place. So the first thing that I've decided is that I want this mob farm to be at my base. I want it to be right above the Guardian farm. So things to keep in mind is the Y value of my Guardian farm. It's at Y64, which is the ocean level. And as you can see, my map is at Y65, so we're pretty much there. And right here, I've built this pillar up to Y128, and that's because that's the mob spawning radius around a player. So if we're at the bottom of our Guardian farm, we only want the Guardian farm to be really loaded. Then up here, we want the mob farm to be loaded only when we're up there. So they could be two separately functioning farms without actually stepping on each other. And just imagine a Guardian farm down here at the bottom, how big that would be. And then, yeah, that'll be pretty proportional. I don't think it'll look too tall. I think it'll be just fine. So I'm pretty certain that witches are the hardest mob to kill in a mob farm, and so I've built a test machine here because I really want to test how far it takes for a witch to fall and die. So here's a 40 block tall tower. We've got 10, 20, 30, and 40 blocks. Let's go ahead and see what happens when we push Mrs. Witch right out the tower. she dies. Okay, so that means that it takes less than 40 blocks for them to die. Here we are down here at 30 blocks. Let's see if this works. Will 30 blocks kill a witch? It does. Wow, that's surprising. I'm pretty certain 20 blocks is not going to do it. 20 blocks is not going to kill a witch. There's no way. Nope, and she lives. So that's definitely going to be up here. So let's go ahead and test this. Let's go ahead and rebuild this here. We need to test how far it's going to take for this witch to fall and actually die without actually going further than need be. So let's see. They die there, and you just keep testing them. Just keep pushing them off until they... Look at that. That didn't take very long, did it? That didn't take very long at all. So it's going to be this block. That block. How many blocks is that? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? So that's exactly 29 blocks it takes for a witch to fall and die. Let's see. Let's confirm that. 29 blocks. Seems to be confirmed. Here are all the other mobs. I want to test these guys out to make sure that they will die too at this height. I believe all of them will. Let's see. There's the... there's a spider up there. There we go. Let's test that guy. Make sure he falls and dies. Looks like he did. This guy can also jump off of there. We get a creeper. These are the ones that we really want. We want the gunpowder from that. They die as well. And the skeletons, they should die as well. There we go. Very good. And if for some reason any of those mobs should live, then they're going to be landing on magma blocks, which will kill them anyway. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys know how I got these pistons to stay like this without powering them. Also, let me know if you know why these rails are here. Pause the video and quickly answer those questions down in the comment section. And here comes the answer. All you have to do is actually go ahead and once you depower it, you can go and power it, then butt it, and then unbutt it. And it doesn't know that it's unpowered. And to answer your question of why these are here, these rails, it's because once water falls down on top of magma blocks, it creates infinite water sources like it has here, which I did by mistake because I didn't put those rails in here, which I have now done. And as you can see with this collection system now, if I were to throw any type of mob drop like gunpowder or anything anywhere, you should see that it gets all collected right in the middle. Which to get mob drops, of course, you're going to need a load of mobs. So I've created my first spawning platform here just to kind of get it designed out, and we created a flushing system that should flush all of our mobs into the center down into the killing chamber. Now this first spawning platform is built 39 blocks up above, which we learned earlier, and it's also spaced out along these pillars, so we're actually 2 blocks in, so that way the mobs actually have some room to push each other around so they don't actually fly out of the killing chamber. So let's go ahead and test it out. This is a system that activates itself basically. So as you can see, we have one piston here that's going to suck back this water blocker is what I'm going to call it, and it's going to allow the water to flow down. And there's an observer down here which will detect when this one goes off, and it'll go ahead and activate the next one and the next one, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and give it a try here and see what happens. Let's grab ourselves a redstone block, and let's go ahead and power this piston, and then we'll unpower it, and all the water should flow out. And you should see that even this one over here gets triggered eventually. There goes all of our mobs. They're all falling down. Each and every one of them should die, and if they don't, due to armor or whatever, they should die due to the magma blocks. And it looks like... Are these guys spawning here? I wonder if they're spawning here. We should light this whole place up to check that. I've even lit up this area because when I came up here, mobs are all over the top area as well. But I've loaded up the center area with mobs, and we're ready to test. So let's go ahead and test this guy out and make sure that no mobs are landing on the outside of our killing chamber. Everything's looking good so far. All the mobs are falling down and in. Everyone's dying. But see, even the ones that have that are living are gonna die eventually because they're on these magma blocks. And judging by this test, it looks like none of the mobs landed outside the killing chamber. Now, in preparing to construct the rest of the farm and designing it as well, I was planning on having these observers and the whole triggering mechanism go in an upwards fashion, meaning that the bottom layer would trigger first, and then the second layer, and then the third layer, and the fourth layer, and so on and so forth. And that way, we would have like a constant flow of mobs falling out of this farm, which would be pretty cool. Yes, it would. But the only issue with that is that we have a flushing mechanism down here that's supposed to sweep all these items into the center once all the mobs have landed. But if we have mobs constantly landing, that will never happen. So to resolve that issue, as you can see, we've got an observer right here detecting when this particular water blocker will be released, and it'll go ahead and step on up to the next level, which is kind of what we just thought of that we don't want. And so to fix that, we're going to go ahead and remove this bit right here. We're not going to want to trigger that, and instead this observer here will trigger those down there, because obviously this will be the last platform to sweep its mobs off, and once all the mobs fall, we're going to want to sweep the items in there. So that's where that output will come from. But this one now needs an input because it doesn't have an input, which will be coming from the next module up above, I suppose. So if we had another observer like that will detect the next layer water blocker, we could possibly run down some redstone. Let me get some supplies. There we go. We got ourselves all that redstone in, and I've been looking at this, and this will work. This will definitely work, but I've been having some thoughts. Now, as you can see, obviously this would go around and around and around, all the way spiraling down to the very last platform. And the problem is the amount of time it actually takes for it to spiral around. So let's take a look at that here really quick, because that's what I'm talking about. So that's literally maybe 2 seconds, maybe, until that one opens, maybe a second and a half. But point being is that if it was instant and they all open at the same time, then that would be less time, basically. And the issue with that is because if we have multiple platforms, it's going to take quite a while for that signal to go all the way around all these different platforms. So to re-engineer this, we're going to get rid of these observers right here and all this. And now that that's all gone, all we'd have to do is come down here and place one observer, and that'll go ahead and trigger the entire layer. And we could just do that for these one pistons here, right here at the beginning of the whole circuit. And to activate our killing chamber water blockers, we could actually just take an output from this piston as well. We're just going to have to add a timing circuit in here to make sure that all the mobs have time to fall. Also, I've been looking at this, and because I really don't like redstone, I really don't like it, even though I like playing with redstone all the time, I like to try to reduce the amount of redstone dust I use, because redstone dust, when it's lit, is the most laggiest component in the game, and so I try to not use it. But here, I was kind of in a funk and I didn't really know what to do, so I've just kind of rethought that. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a piston here, just like that, and then we'll go ahead and place a redstone block on that, and that'll keep that extended. And then anytime this comes out, I believe that should work. This observer will detect that, removing the redstone block. Yeah, this looks way better. Let's see if it works better too. Let's go ahead and test it out here. If we open this up, we should get an activation. That's pretty good. I like that. And for down below, we have the activation system in place. We got this observer tower with the slime block activation circuit tied into this last piston here. But I'm not really a fan of it. It's kind of ugly. It's just in one corner, and it goes down here, and the only way to get the signal to go around to the other pistons is redstone, and I'm not really a fan of that. And the other biggest problem too is that over here, this block right here buds one of the pistons, and it doesn't work properly. As you can see, if you activate them, they both come up, but when you go down, one of them still stays up. To fix this issue, I actually found a solution, even though I'm probably not going to be doing this, but if we just put redstone right there, that should fix our problem. Which it does, because now that side goes down, but now they're out of sequence. This is cool. I could probably make this symmetrical somehow, but I'm not really digging the repeaters, to be honest with you. But I didn't like it, so I tore it down. And keep in mind, I want to keep this thing looking elegant, because it's going to be right above my guardian farm, which is going to be my base. So I want it to look good, so I think I might put my own twist on it. Get it? Twist? Doesn't this look pretty cool? Not only do they look cool, but they also work cool too. Check this out. So when we actually activate this thing, it'll flush the mobs. Here's the water for the mobs. So the mobs will go ahead and get flushed out. And then, that actually might be a little too quick, but nonetheless, this still looks really cool. Maybe if we can slow it down a little bit. Oh my goodness, why didn't I think of this before? A falling edge monostable circuit, that's perfect. And this whole thing looks kind of good too, look at that. That doesn't look bad. And what that means is that this circuit will actually fire when this water is being turned off. So that means that this water will turn off when all the mobs have already been flushed. And once they've already been flushed, they're going to be falling. Once they're falling, then we can go ahead and activate down below. And it actually works pretty well too. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at this thing. Let's go over here, put some creepers in here. Go ahead and spam some of these guys around. We'll get them all the way back here in the corner, the very furthest point that they can actually get to. Let's go ahead and open this guy up. We'll let the creepers get flushed out here. And see, the water down below is not doing anything just yet. Not just yet. We got to wait till all the creepers actually get flushed out. There they go. They're all dying. That's awesome. That's awesome. So we'll have this set up on a clock on a timer. And then once actually the last guy falls, we can go ahead and close this. And then it'll activate down below, flushing all the items in. Whew. What a process that is. Well, we've put in the second layer, but there was a problem with the roof. The roof actually was 3 blocks tall and allowed Endermen to spawn, which is no good. And you can see right here, they've been taking the melon blocks and stuff like that. That's no good. We can't be having that. So now we've got the roof moved down into the correct spot, and it's probably pretty dark down here, so let's go ahead and drink a night vision potion. There we go. Now you guys can see. And everything's looking pretty good. We got tons of mobs spawning, which is nice. This farm on the survival world will probably be a little bit taller. We're just doing it this way right now because I don't want to have to build it that far up. But we do have some lighting glitch issues, which if I drink the milk, it'll get rid of the night vision, and you can see that this piston right here is letting light in. And that's because it's this piston right there, that one, that is actually making it to where light can get in, because this area is hollow, so light can actually penetrate through there, causing it to where I believe mobs might not spawn. So we've been having a piston right there and a slime block to another observer that triggers the water release station for down there. That will go ahead and swipe the items in, but in order to fix this problem, I think we're going to have to take an observer right there, get rid of that slime block, and put a sticky piston in right there. And let's go see that fixes the lighting glitch. There's a lighting glitch, it's all gone. Just look at that, it's completely dark. No more lighting glitches. Right, so now the farm's working out as the way it should. There's no lighting glitches in it, so let's go ahead and test it out here. And if we hit this block right here, we should see all the mobs starting to fly out. Let's see here. They should get flushed out here. There they go. They're starting to land down there. Very cool. Very, very cool. What a sight that is. Awesome. And as you can see, even if they don't die the first time, they land down there and they still die anyway, even if they have feather falling. And I believe that's probably most of the mobs, so we can go ahead and replace this block back. And you can see upon closing that the water down below starts to go and flushes the items towards the center, which is exactly what we want, and then it turns back off. Very good. Okay, so there's very little that we need to do this farm now. This farm's almost complete. We need to create the timer up on top that's going to control this circuit right here. That'll allow the farm to turn on and off, obviously. And then down below, we're going to need a way to capture all the items and store them. So first off, the activation circuit. This is a pulse extender that's going to go ahead and put in a pulse into this observer. The longer the pulse is, the longer the duration, and that is going to make it to where the water stays on and pushes all the mobs out. I'm going to test this. I don't know if this is enough time, but I think adding 6 comparators in here should have enough length of time to go ahead and push all the mobs off. So we'll go ahead and test that. And then when the observer detects that the repeater turns on, it'll go ahead and start running the water. And when the repeater turns off, it'll go ahead and shut off the water. But we need to activate this somehow. And I think that's going to come from a etho hopper clock. And we'll go ahead and put a repeater right here. And that'll be coming off the redstone block input on that, which I've built right here, but I decided to go ahead and take an output from an observer block instead of just the redstone block, and that'll make it to where it's just a 1-tick pulse coming into this, and hopefully that'll create a really cool timer to where this is actually shorter than the entire pulse here. So I'm thinking 32 items might be good enough for that, so let's go ahead and see what we can do with that. And we actually need to go ahead and put a redstone torch right there, so that way these items stay right there. Now that's what we want. We want that to be just like that, and when that empties, it'll go ahead and switch over and give a pulse and transfer to the farm. Now we need to go ahead and put an input into this, and that's going to be from the AFK station, which will be centered right over these 4 squares right here in the middle. So we need to go ahead and get an input from there, from here. So here's the input that's going to go ahead and turn off this redstone torch right here, which will allow the items to start flowing over, which will start making this clock go, which will start making the whole mob farm go. And that's going to be inputted from this observer over here. And this observer is going to be needing an input from up there at the AFK spot, which I think I'm going to be able to do with slime blocks, sticky pistons, and observers, which I have now got in place. And if we stand on top of this, it should send a bunch of pulses downwards, allowing this observer to go down into the block. So as you can see, as it gets pulled up and it gets pulled down, it'll go ahead and toggle the position of that redstone block over there. And I wanted to go ahead and see the whole functionality of this thing. So I have a witch egg, and I'm hoping that if I place a witch on top of this, I can go down there and watch everything happening as it should, I think. Did it do it? I think it did do it. Yeah, it did. Okay, very good. Let's see. Let's see. This is going to drain out here in just a second. There we go. That's causing a lot of lag. We need to redesign that, which I've done. That's been redesigned, and my witch despawned. So I've got a name tag here. Let's go ahead and get that in here, and I'll go ahead and rename her witch. There we go. Now we should be able to come down here and watch everything work. Hopefully everything works. Something just happened in my house. There we go. That looks like it's working rather well. That's working pretty good. Let's see down here. Everything's working properly. Is water turning on? Little too soon. Little too soon, I think. I wonder what happened between last time and this time. Alright, well, it seems that the water sweepers are working pretty good. The ones that actually clear the mobs out. It looks like all the mobs are actually getting cleared out. Let's go ahead and drink a night vision potion here for you guys so you guys can see clearly as well. And let's see here. Actually, I'm actually preventing all the mob spawns right now. I need to come way down here. And hopefully when it starts to sweep, we'll get a couple mob spawns in there. There we go. Looks like all the mobs are getting out of here. That's good. That's good. Okay. But we're just getting premature down here. Okay, so what we're going to do there is we're going to go ahead and put more pistons and observers in this whole line right here. Looks like the water sweepers have started. Everything's looking good. The mobs are moving in. The water is turned off. All the mobs haven't died yet. Still turning on a little soon. Alright, I've changed some timings in this thing right here. I've added 16 more gunpowder to the system, so therefore it should stay on just a little bit longer, flushing the mobs out for a little bit more time. And we've gone back to the twisted design. I like this, and it adds a little bit more time in between these two circuits up here. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Alright, so mobs are now spawning up there. You can kind of see them spawning over there in the distance. They're going to be spawning in there, and it's going to go ahead and flush here pretty soon. Let's go ahead and see. The water should be starting to flush. There it goes. And the mobs are going to start falling down, which is always a fun sight. It's always fun watching these guys fall. And we should see that there's enough time for all the mobs to get flushed out. There we go. Very good. And now the water gets triggered. The circuits go down, and even that zombie down there, is he gonna die? He died before that anything ever happened, so that's good. And it looks like something didn't trigger quite right over there. I think I see the problem right now. We need to actually get rid of these slime blocks right here. There we go. I believe we have a working design now. Let's go ahead and see if that triggers all the way down. There we go. Very good. And it's triggering all the way back up. Should get blocked back off, and the water should go away. There we go. Very good. Okay, well, there's the timing circuit all put in together for the clock. That's done now. We have the AFK spot up here, which I will definitely make a little bit more decorated than just a single block. It'll probably be a room with another portal and all that kind of stuff. We'll design that here a little bit later. But now I really want to get onto the storage system. We need to go down below here where the water is sweeping all these items into. What is keeping these zombies from living? I mean, this distance kills witches, but for some reason some zombies are living. But oh well, they still die, which is good. And so let's go ahead and get onto the storage. So to start, I've created a small little collection system, and we've got a basic set of all the items that are going to be dropping out of this farm, pretty much. So we've got spider eyes, sugar, sticks, and glass bottles that come from witches, and also redstone, which is pretty cool for me. And then on top of that, we have all these other mob drops. Alright, so after watching this thing run for quite some time, I've discovered that we've got 11 items coming into here, and we've got 5 normal mob items, and then the witches. These guys drop several items, 6 in total. So combined, we have 11 items coming out of here, 6 of which I think we're only going to need a little bit of storage for, because we don't get a ton of any one of these things, but we do get quite a bit of the rest. I've been playing around with some chest arrangements, and as you can see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 wide storage areas. This is going to be for the bulk items, and then for the items that the witches drop, we don't have that many of them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I've been trying to create a situation that works here, a chest layout, and this looks pretty good, but I mean, I've got a farm that's centered around 4 blocks. How do you center this around 4 blocks? It's odd numbers. I got to figure that out. I think this pattern layout looks pretty cool. This is working because we have spaces in between everything. We have every single chest that we need. We got 6 single chests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 5 double chests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there we go, and that's pretty big. I like the size of it, and I think it'll work pretty well. Let's go ahead and start building it. Never mind. This design here is simply just not going to work. I forgot that my base, the guardian farm, has a water elevator inside of it, and right here is where all the items flow up, like right here in this area, like this. And so all the items flow up right here inside of these 4 squares. And so the water elevator right here is going to have to transport me from down below to there. And so we need to actually start the actual transportation of the items from this point up and around these areas. We're going to have to go around these hoppers here, wrap it all the way around, and probably have a lava pit somewhere on this side. But I'm definitely going to go with some shulker box loading stations. We're not going to be doing the chest system because that's just a lot of hoppers. It's a lot of hoppers, and this is just so much easier to do with shulker boxes. Mobs are not dying in the killing chamber. This guy isn't even taking damage. I'm willing to bet he probably has Frostwalker on. That's probably exactly what he's got. But either way, we had a couple things go on since the last clip. We lit up the whole bottom area by putting sea lanterns on because we were seeing other mobs spawn in here, and we were wondering if that was the problem, is that maybe we had to light up the whole area. And it turns out that magma blocks are spawnable, which is kind of interesting. And they were spawning mobs. But now that it's lit up, they're still spawning mobs, which is kind of interesting. And the other thing too is that we tried using rails all the way around, and what ends up happening is items don't flow over rails. That's a bummer, and so that creates a problem. And I don't believe that they're spawnable either. Mobs were not spawning when we had the rails in, so that was some information that we learned during that event too. But nonetheless, we haven't found a solution yet, and so what I'm thinking is that we're going to have to create a way for these guys and any other mobs that live to get killed some other way, like by lava, but have the items not get burnt up by lava. Like that might be something. We might have to create like a killing stream or something like that for mobs that live. I also had to use sea lanterns to light these areas up because mobs were spawning on top of the observers, which did kind of explain why we were seeing mobs fall on top of this area. When especially they're being shoved inwards, they would land closer, not further. But yeah, that's where the mobs are coming from. Well, hopefully you guys learned something today. I took you guys through my entire thought process of Redstone and how I build certain things, and maybe you guys can start building some stuff for yourself. I'd like to see that in some of my social media groups like Discord and the community and all that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, be sure to smack that like button for me, subscribe if you guys are new, ring that notification bell, and share this video with all your friends. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm Broken Bones, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody.